because many of us, like myself, I mean, if they have ripe banana on the table, I think every round I make, I'll eat a ripe banana. And like you said, it might be it might be low in something, but by eating so many of it, it ends up being so high. So my question here is, knowing that many of us do not know the right portions of foods that we're supposed to eat, not only for kidney disease, but I mean our everyday life. I mean, how can we know what portion? Because I've been trying to read up on the portions of foods I'm supposed to eat, because I am battling with something myself that I need to learn to eat the right portions all the time. But sometimes I can tell you, the portion of salad I'm seeing that I'm supposed to eat vis-a-vis the amount of ground provisions that I'm supposed to eat, vis-a-vis the amount of meat or fish I'm supposed to eat, by the time I finish, I am so hungry. By the time I get home, I have to stuff. I end up eating endless bread because my fat tell me.
Wow.
So can you guide us, even if it's not for kidney disease, but the portions that we're supposed to eat, and what can we substitute? I mean, by the time we get home and we're already hungry, what can we eat to keep us through the night? So at least persons that are battling with the portions, everyday portions.
Too much salaison, too much thing like you.
It's not too much salaison, Olan. It's just that you just been hungry by the time you get home.
Hungry by the time you get home.
So, and I think that's how it has to start from now, before we get to all these chronic diseases.
Well, that's true,
and then we have to adjust to the portions. You understand? So I'm using myself as an example. So guide us through the little portions.
So it's like knowing
and
how to
the
plate
portions
your food, right?
after we get home.
It's like knowing how to plate your food.
Yes, definitely. Louisa, thank you so much for your honesty. You see, the thing about it, in the absence of, let's say, kidney disease or any other chronic condition, it is important for us to eat healthy. Now, what does that mean to the average person? Okay, you spoke about portions, which is very important, and I just want to reiterate a point here. You made the example of eating, every time you pass in the kitchen, you eat a ripe banana. But bananas contain a lot of nutrients like sugar. We call them carbohydrates. They do contain potassium, minerals, vitamin C, and all those. And we always say, there is always this little saying, anything beyond medicine can be poison. So anything you do in excess, and it doesn't even have to be food.
Moderation.
Moderation is the key. Now, still moderation has to be explained to some people.
True.
You understand?
True.
So, in the whole scheme of things, when we speak about eating healthy, you speak about foods that are in the natural state. So we always foster the recommendation of eating your fruits, your vegetables, your peas and your beans. And we always say foods that are in the natural state. So foods that you can pick from a tree and eat. And as opposed to, let's say, those in a package, those in a can, because the manufacturers would have to put ingredients to keep the shelf life of that food 2, 3 years, 5 years. You can leave a can, it can stay up to how many years? Now, just think about it for a moment. That is not real. That is artificial products in there. So you want to eat foods that are natural. And going back to the portions, Louisa, and you may have to come and see me privately.
I think so too.
Speaking about portions, but when we speak about portions, it is based on an individual basis. So it has to do with your physical activity, right? How active are you for you to be eating a plate of food that's like gopiton? When are you going to burn all of that energy? Because when we eat food, it is supposed to provide energy to our body, to be able to think, to be able to do our work, to be able to do whatever, even sitting and studying. And as we're there, our body uses energy. right? However, there are activities that would warrant a person to eat more. We say calories. Basically, that's the energy you get from food. More food or less food. So if you're a very active person, you do manual labor, you're physically active, you go to the gym or you go walking, you're exercising, you would need more energy or more food than a person that sits at a desk.
Because it's the harsh exercise.
Yes, right. You're not so physically active. So what happens at the end of the day for most persons, and that has to do with a lot of science, your genetics, your metabolism, how your body uses food. So some person might say, I'm eating a lot and I don't put on weight, as opposed to somebody that might say, I'm not eating so much and why am I gaining all that weight? It's a whole set of mechanisms that go behind everything. So it has to do with your genetics, how your body utilizes that sort of food and all of that. But going back again to, let's say, the general population, we encourage to eat more fruits and just visualize your plate and say, what is on that plate? What is the quality of the food that is on that plate? Is it just ground provisions and fish or chicken and a lot of meat, a lot of salison? Like some of us, we like a lot of meat, a lot of salison. But looking at the plate, there is nothing green, nothing red, no vegetable. And that's supposed to be number one on the plate, more vegetables. So think about your plate and what it contains. So we encourage more vegetables. So your salad, if you want to make half of your plate vegetables, that is fine. All right? And then you think about the others to balance it. So some provisions, some peas, of course the meats, as we say, your chicken or your fish. So it becomes balanced. Right? Your fruits can be eaten as snacks. So in between, you can grab a banana, you can grab some grapes or a piece of watermelon. But still, persons with medical issues, it has to be curtailed to be able to, help them along the way. But Louisa, generally, you wake up in the morning, you say, I need to get my vegetables in, my immune boosters, my fruits, my vegetables. And we say it with color, your greens, your reds, your yellows, your oranges, what color again? So your watermelon, your grapefruit, your oranges, your bananas, your apples, your grapes. Although we recommend more local foods, your wax apples and so on. Your guavas, So that is how we should think in that line. And I always say to people, whatever you take and you put in your mouth, think about it. Is it going to bring health or is it going to bring disease?
True.
And those that will tend to bring the conditions over time, diseases. You speak about foods that are high in sugar or added sugar. Foods that are high in sodium or salt. Or remember I told you those in the package and in the can and in the box and all of that. And is it going to bring health to you or is it going to bring sickness? How much sugar are you taking in a day? How much salt or sodium? How much fat, especially bad fats, those from the animal sources?
Bacon, all them kind of
Bacon and cheese and the dairies and all the pork with all the nice lacquer and the fat. Yeah, that's nice and tasting good. Yes, fat brings flavor to food. But at the end of the day, it can clog our arteries. And cause high cholesterol, can cause blood clots and heart disease.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, Ulan.
Kidney stones. Tell me about kidney stones. How do that come about? Kidney stones.
Okay, well, kidney stones come about as a result of, we've seen persons who may eat a lot of foods that are high in cholesterol or in fat. That can be a cause of kidney stones. Also, too, if somebody lacks fluid, like drinking a lot of water, that too. So it can be a combination of factors. But what we've seen so far, because even when the persons they do it and the stones are passed out, they crystallized. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's very crystallized. So it's like a buildup of a lot of fat. Yeah, so cholesterol and other fatty foods, yes. I don't know if I have any other factors that may
Contribute to
it. Yeah, but from what I know, basically it's foods that are high in a lot of fat, cholesterol, butter, oil, and cheese, and even the cholesterol foods like a lot of seafoods like crabs and squid and how do you call them? The lobster and shrimps. These foods are high in cholesterol. Yeah? And of course, yes, sometimes persons may have to surgically remove it.
Right.
Or the doctor will tell you, go and drink a lot of water, abundant water, and cut out, if you can, the foods that would facilitate.
Because
like
as we speaking about it, I just remember one of my friends, he had surgery done about 2 weeks ago.
Kidney stones.
But he's listening. He's always locked on his list and get well soon, like I normally tell him. Get well
Okay,
soon, yeah.
all right, yes, yes. And of course, begin to eat foods, you know, your vegetables, your food. These foods that are low in calories or low in fat. You know, peas, beans, legumes, yeah, your peas, beans, and nuts. The nuts are also they're healthy fats. They contain what we call unsaturated fats. So you can always grab on or munch on. So Louisa, you spoke about going home when you feel so hungry. Also, eating is a mind over matter thing.
Okay.
Yes, it's a mind over matter. We Caribbean people, and even in St. Lucia, we always feel if our bellies are not burst and filled, the body takes in the amount, the little that it needs, the nutrients here or there, the assimilation, absorption, and whatever, and the rest is excreted, or it is stored as fat. Yes.
For later use.
Right, for later use. You know, and some persons might end up becoming overweight and obese and all of that, you know. So we have to have what we call mindful eating.
Right.
So mindful, you are mindful of what you're eating, and also you mindful in the sense that you take your time and you eat, you chew every bit of food. So by the time you finish with that plate, you don't feel hungry. You don't even really want. But some of us, we gobble up everything really fast. The body doesn't take the time, you know. Yeah, we do everything in a hurry. But we have to be mindful. You take your time. You chew this piece of whatever, this piece of potato, or you chew down that piece of lettuce. You chew down that piece of carrot, and you think about the goodness that it brings to you. So that is mindful eating.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you may take the whole plate and end up eating half of it. Yes, Clovis, you want to say something?
Sure.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
Sometimes when we feel that we're hungry, we're actually thirsty and not hungry.
There we go.
How can one actually?
So if you know that you've eaten a meal and
Right.
it's sufficient for the day, for the time, and your duration has not come, so it's not supper time as
True.
yet,
Exactly.
and you're feeling really hungry, consider how much water you have drunk for the day.
Okay.
Did you meet your requirements? And drink a nice glass of water, allow your body to relax, and then monitor what is going on with your body. Because your brain is telling you you're missing something. You interpret it as hunger, but sometimes it's just thirst. And you may not necessarily feel thirsty as in your throat being
Yeah, right,
dry,
right.
but there's a signal that's saying that you're missing something, and it might just be water.
Definitely. You are so correct. Yes, so correct. Definitely. So that is important.
Yes.
So Louisa, you're not hungry. And some people eat for various reasons.
Emotional
You know,
eating.
emotional eating.
That is true.
I feel stressed, I grab something, I am hungry. No, you're not hungry, like Clovis was saying.
Yeah.
You're not hungry. Or go and do a walk, go and exercise. Yes?
Yes.
So we feel food is the comfort, food is the solution to every single thing.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
And then when we keep on eating like that, we do not allow our body to rest, to interpret what is going on. So it's
Definitely.
always under stress, feeling that you always have to eat and keep on going. So we're busy, our body is
That's why
busy,
you
and we
get-
never take a break. So allow our bodies to relax and understand what is going on, and then we'll see how it functions a lot
Yes.
better.
Even fasting
Yeah.
is important to the body. Because in those periods, because there are times you just need to rest the stomach, like she was saying. You need to rest the stomach, because it is going and going, it has to churn that piece of dashing or ground provision or even meat. Meat takes a very long time to digest and all that had fiber in there, you know. So it takes time. The stomach, I mean, our stomach is as the size of our fist. And think about these huge, sometimes these go piton plates that I'm like, where is all of that going?
Right.
But do you know that we can actually stretch our stomachs?
Yes.
Stretch our stomachs to the point where when we begin to eat, like it's never filling. It's like I'm always hungry. Right? We can stretch it, and we can also shrink our stomach by the amount of food we eat.
So if it's already stretched, can it shrink?
Yes, you can. You can go back. You can reverse it and shrink it by what you start eating less and less and less food.
When you hear people say, very
No, not. You know, we have a lot of myths in our. Who have stretched less stomach. So it's like you always want something to eat. You always want. And then you also need to eat foods that bring what we call satiety, that sense of fullness.
Okay.
So foods with a lot of fiber, and again I would go back to my fruits, vegetables, legumes. They give you that sense of fullness, as opposed to, let's say, white bread and foods that have simple carbohydrates. So you grab a bread, a burger, and a juice, and by the time it's an hour, so you feel hungry because this food would have been digested very fast. Then you get back hungry. But you want to eat foods that take time to digest. A longer time, you feel fuller, and it takes a longer time. So you're not so hungry as we always think. So you eat foods that are complex carbohydrate, your provisions, your peas, your beans, your vegetables, and so on.
Here's something I want to run by you. With our level of course, diabetes in St. Lucia, and of course, the level of alcohol consumption, what message would you send to those alcoholic, like making sure they have every day they run it in regards to the kidneys?
Well, you see, I mean, you made mention of diabetes, you made mention of alcohol. Now, of course, we know alcohol has damaging effects on the liver and other organs in our bodies. And, there are times persons who drink, they sometimes are not they don't feel hungry for some reason. So you find there is some level of undernutrition. They are not being fed properly. So that in itself is a problem.
Yeah.
And doubling that with diabetes is a double whammy, because with diabetes you have to eat on time, you have to eat properly, you have to medicate properly. And if you're drinking and you don't feel hungry, so there is just a whole melange of problems you're looking for yourself.
So it's like a recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster. So you're walking around like a time bomb. So you don't know if you've not checked your kidneys, you've not done a kidney function test. You don't know what is happening inside your body. You don't know what's happening to your organs, your liver. Your kidneys might very well be on its way to failing, and you do not know that. So that is why it's important for persons with, and not just diseases. Normally, you do a medical yearly checkup with your physician. Check your kidneys, your liver, organs in your body, the heart. You do how we call it, the EKG. You do a cholesterol test to find out what is happening. All right, so I would encourage persons, yes, with alcohol consumption, it is difficult, but I always believe that if you are disciplined enough, you can control that.
With all those vices, what if you add smoke into the mix? What would be your life expectancy?
Well, of course, that of course is another problem, another layer of problem you've added to your problem. And of course, your life expectancy would be cut short. So you see a lot of young persons dying in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, secondary to diabetes, hypertension,
True.
and all the other comorbidities. So sometimes they have some other failure that they're not even aware of.
Yes.
So definitely yes. So these other vices, as you say, we would encourage persons to, cut deceased. And like Louisa was saying, we can take small steps. So if you used to smoke, let's say, 5 packs per day, you cut down to what? Half of that.
Yes.
Then until another day comes, you cut down to how many? Until you would say, yes, I need to quit smoking. And of course, within the Ministry of Health, I think they now have the substance abuse unit that actually now they have a program in place to help persons to quit smoking. Yes.
Another question. A while ago you spoke about persons' medication and all that. Is there like some persons they always sick maybe for some strange reason, like they always maybe feeling nauseated or something? Is there some medication that might actually affect or mess up your kidney, like over-the-counter medication? So persons have to just be very careful as to what they go and purchase,
Of course.
as to what they can't put in the body.
It is important, yes. So even medication can damage the kidneys as well. I did not make mention of it in my introduction, but yes, some medications can damage the kidneys. So you have to be very careful. I mean, I'm not a pharmacist here, and I will not spell out any medication.
Okay.
However, you can always speak to your physician on that. But there are medications with side effects that can damage the kidneys.
Yes. Prolonged exposure to it.
Oh yeah, prolonged exposure.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of persons living their life on meds.
Meds,
like
yes.
before they have a little
They feel
headache, they
like-
run to
Paracetamol, they pull out, yes, ibuprofen, and yes, so
Yeah.
some of them can damage the
or
kidneys.
even who knows, the ladies applying the beauty thing to
Oh,
them.
yes.
That can actually go to the
Go to
bloodstream.
the bloodstream, definitely. A lot of
understand?
chemicals, yes.
So
It
persons
can
have to be very
penetrate the
careful.
pores and it can cause problems. Yes.
Louise, anything you want to highlight again while you're at it, ladies?
I'll let Fabia go on. Fabia?
Okay. Okay, so we're talking about kidney health and nutrition.
And of course, the month of March is
Yes, Kidney Awareness Month. So please take care of these 2 bean-shaped organs that are just below is it the diaphragm? Yeah, at the back? Yeah? We need to take care of them because we do not see inside of our bodies. So we definitely need to take care by eating well, eating healthy, generally cutting down on your salt or sodium intake. And I alluded to the processed foods. Eat foods that are more, in their natural state. Cutting down on sugar, added sugars. You don't always need to drink juice or those box juices with all the preservatives and sugars in there. Drink more water. There is the song that says, drink more water and mind your business. So mind your kidney business, mind your health business. Yes, because health is now, well, not now, health is wealth. Because if you are not well, how can you go out and work and bring income to the home? How can you take care of your family? How can you take care of yourself? So health is a very, very, it's a very costly commodity. We have to preserve our health. Take care of that.
health is wealth.
Yeah, health is wealth, as we say. So people go out there, go for a sweat, go for a jog, go for a run, exercise, drink a lot of water, eat at least a fruit a day. You can start there. Eat your vegetables, your peas, your beans, your nuts. Watch the portion sizes that you take in.
Yes.
Do not eat late in the night, and don't do like Louisa, she feeling hungry.
Yes.
When she's come home,
Thirsty.
go and drink water.
Yeah, boy glow.
Wear glow.
Hey, let me say good morning to all you guys who are in the diaspora along. Hey, Margot, good morning. Hey, tough song all the way in Texas. All right, shout out to all you guys in Canada, the US, the UK, wherever you are, man. Good morning. They're locked on. They're inside. Of course, Casualty 911. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about kidney health. Okay, folks? All right, along with our guests.
Okay.
All right. 2 minutes after 11, we're still on. Yeah, time is on steroids, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I said, yeah.
Time is on steroids.
Yes.
Fadia, I know time is against us, so I just want to say that although this month is Kidney Awareness Month, and we speak about nutrition and how to, what should we eat, we shouldn't eat. But I just want to make an appeal to our general public. I mean, many of us go through that same situation that I just spoke about. And we have the services available to help you get through it. Feel free to make our appointment with our nutritionists at our wellness centers. I mean, this is ideal. We need to start now. Amidst everything that has been going on, we know for the past 2 years we've had COVID. A lot of us tend to forget ourselves, and their concentration was on COVID. But now we're asking persons to take be more responsible when it comes to their health. And we will continue taking time out to educate you, especially by doing what is right on a daily basis to bring about good health. I know it's not always possible, but we want persons to continue managing their health. And take some time. It's a little self-care. I mean, you can do your own research, and then afterwards, don't be an expert just because you see a few YouTube videos. But we have the services available at our wellness centers to help you take care of your body, how to eat right, and continue monitoring your progress. It's one thing you go with one appointment, but follow-up appointments is ideal to continue monitoring your progress. I mean, we all fall short. I too fall in that bracket and category. That is why I am able to relate. So therefore, we want persons to come to our wellness center. I mean, you've seen the signs, you've seen the symptoms, the doctor have recommended you, but yet still, I mean, you're still hesitant to come forward to see the nutritionist or the dietitian.
Especially the men.
Especially the men. Although I find a lot of men are coming out these days.
Because if I was afraid to die.
Yeah.
So excellent.
And another thing I want to make mention, Fadia spoke about high in sodium, and it starts with our kids too, Fadia.
Yeah.
Because many times the snacks, the sodium level in the snacks, these packaged foods that I see, it's very, very, very high, and it's alarming for me as a parent. And I want parents to be mindful of that. There is nothing wrong in going and pick a guava and putting a guava in the child's bag.
Right.
It's how you train your child. You understand? There is nothing wrong in putting the oranges. There is nothing wrong in putting our local fruits in the children bags, and so on.
Yeah.
So be mindful of all these things. Our actions today will become the problems later on. So we want persons to be mindful of all these things. Sadia, go on.
Definitely. Yes, so definitely our children, and we as parents, we are the gateway to our children. Is what we introduce to them. That is what they will have. That is what, and I find what has happened is we have perverted the taste buds of our children. And it saddens me to see, children, they have those sugar-sweetened beverages in their lunch bags when we can make a nice, fruit juice, local, cherry, guava, almost any fruit, local fruit we have, we can juice it and give to our children, or we can give them the whole fruit to put in their bag. But let me hasten to say that I have maybe some good news to some persons that we have, the Ministry of Health have received approval for banning of soft drinks in schools.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yes, so that is a step in the right direction, I think, so they would not be allowed with soft drinks on the school's compound. So right now the Ministry of Health, we're working on an implementation plan to see that come to pass. Because sodas, yes. I just find we consume too much of processed foods. And we forget about the guava tree in our backyard. And we forget about the wax apple that's falling. Oh, when you speak about mango season, you know, I mean, this is what God blessed us with.
Even our little tamarind.
And tamarind and you know, and a lot of exotic fruits we don't even see anymore, like sapodilla, chapoti, and the tamarind, the round ones, not the sour ones. So there used to be a tamawe de zen and zabuiko, which is called apricot. And just one day I was just these fruits I grew up on. They were just coming back to me. That was, it was so, you know, refreshing to say, wow, I don't see that tree anymore, and I don't see, they used to call something boitin. That's like a tiny fruit. My grandmother had this big tree, and we used to live by a school. When school dismissed at 3, the children, you would just see blues all under the tree. Going and pick up boitin. I don't know the English name. It's just a little, it just had a thin skin and it has a seed in the center, and that's it. And the children would enjoy that.
Yes.
We talk about the thing, poidu. Yes, with the long pod, with the green, with the long, and so many other bui.
You know, just last week, I went for a massage, and the massage therapist was speaking about that. So long she have not eaten these.
Yes, and you don't even find them anymore, I guess, because of maybe hurricanes and so on. So a lot of the trees might have been destroyed, and all of that died and so on.
True.
And then somebody's making a contribution saying that you have persons selling their oranges, etc., and they go buy sodas for the children.
Imagine that.
You understand?
Yes, that is a reality.
Somebody's actually saying that.
Yes, that's a reality. Or they go and they sell the pigeon peas, and they go and buy the lentils or the packaged ones.
Right.
That is so true.
Yes, it's very true. Yes. So we have to use what we have, and we grow as much as you can. If you have the plot, if you have the tire, if you have the little space in your backyard. Backyard gardening. You start with one tomato plant. Start with one. Start with something. Start with a cucumber tree or something. You know, start and watermelon plants, and I find they grow nicely.
Even
the cantaloupe and all.
Even hibiscus leaf.
Yes.
The juice of that, very
of course,
nice.
yes, very nice.
Yeah.
Even the plum too.
Yes.
You see the plum, our red plum, the leaves, you can make juice with that.
Yeah, a lady told me that.
Yes.
Well, maybe you're too busy.
Yes.
You're busy all the time.
Well, you had a reaction from our own, so that's a mind blower for us. That means we ourselves have to start practicing, so all the people will follow suit.
You need to acquire a taste for it first, sometimes, because if it's the first time you're having it, and it's, so you might have to acquire a taste, maybe find a way to add maybe a little lime in it to give it a little kick.
There you go.
You know, that
there
kind of thing.
You know, infuse it with something.
Infuse it with something, you know. But I encourage the general population. Let us start somewhere, and especially with our children, like we were discussing. Give them the foods in the lunch bag. And you know that the sad thing is too, so this particular child, and I think it's more of a status issue thing too, you know.
Oh, my child have that.
So if my child has, local juice in his bag, I'm from a poor family, and it's those with the box juice that have the money and they're wealthy. No, we should erase that stigma and that concept. Because I remember I used to give my first son his local juice and say, Mommy, everybody in the class has box juice. And I was the one that had to educate him and tell him, yours is healthier. This one has to be, they add other coloring and things that are damaging to your health. You know, you educate your children. So sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we are causing more harm than good to our children. And like Louisa said, the decisions we make today, the problems we create, what we do today will have lasting impact on our children.
Sure.
Chronic disease and heart disease and all obesity and all of that. And the issue we have with children is childhood obesity.
Oh, yes.
You tell me a 5-year-old weighing 100 and something pounds? And
Overweight.
yes, and some persons in their mind feel just like the baby that is chubby and nice is a healthy baby, and your baby that is slim is unhealthy. We need to erase those stigma out of the minds of people.
Yes.
Yes, obesity is an independent factor for diabetes, heart disease, all other conditions. Just you being overweight and obese, it's an independent factor for all other conditions.
And respiratory issues.
Exactly. Sleep apnea. So when you're sleeping and you,
Yeah.
like the person is just gonna feel that they're gonna pass out, like because there is obstruction, right, to your respiratory tract. You understand? So your lungs do not get the flow of air, oxygen. So at any point that person can just the air can just be cut out, the oxygen. Yeah. So a lot of issues. I'm not saying it will happen overnight, but we must make the effort
So it's
to
like
make the
a
steps.
stitch in time saves 9.
Exactly.
Bigger is
Definitely.
not always better.
Yes, that is true.
Exactly.
That is true.
Bigger is not always better.
That is true. Sometimes you bigger.
Yeah, sometimes less is more.
Sometimes small like you like have
Yes.
more complications with my heart. Or the level of my cholesterol level is so sky.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
and
Do
you
you
lean.
know that so many persons, slim persons, have issues with cholesterol and high blood pressure, or somebody that might be obese? I mean, I'm not stigmatizing anybody, but I just want to bring balance here.
Yes.
Sometimes somebody who might be overweight or obese has no cholesterol issues,
True.
no
You're
hypertension
right.
issues.
You're right.
But the slim person may have issues with their cholesterol or heart. So that is why we need to do our checks. We need to do our medical checks.
How often again should, just to give them a reminder, how often should one have a medical checkup?
A year. Once a year
Okay,
is
annually.
fair enough, is adequate enough. I mean, once a year you do your checks for the males, get your prostate checked, do your medical check, go and do the blood pressure, the blood sugar, your cholesterol, and so on. You go to your physician and get these checks done. Go to the lab and get these checks done.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Nice.
Yes.
I want to thank you guys for coming and being very informative, disseminated information, and of course, keeping the public abreast.
Definitely.
You understand?
Roland.
Yes.
Let me just say thank you to everyone listening out there. And don't forget our announcement, 17th of March at 3 p.m., Soufrière Hospital and around Soufrière Town. Shake the Habit. That's in collaboration with the Nutrition Unit. And this is in observance of Kidney Awareness Month, within which is Salt Awareness Week. Okay, so let us shake the habit, reduce your salt content, your sodium, and let's keep on striving to be healthy persons, a healthy community, by extension, a healthy nation. Again, let me just say thank you to Mrs. Campbell and Mrs. David.
Yes.
It was a pleasure having both of you here today. And Mrs. David, I hope in the future, when you finish with your studies, feel free to contact us so that maybe you could come on the radio program and start somewhere with us. It's just not about the classroom or being out there, but sometimes what we study goes a long way within our community.
Yes, indeed.
And then we would really appreciate the collaboration. Again, Mrs. Campbell, thank you. And Erlan, let me just say good morning to my colleague from Minville. You are surely missed. I cannot wait for you to be back. I'm hoping to see you soon. So, I know you're at home relaxing for now. So have a good and blessed day. Stay safe.
You make it sound like she's on a vacation or vacation. Relax. Have a great day.
When she hears it, when she hears me, she would be like rolling her eyes and say, what relax is she talking about?
I know for is a farmer as well, so why are you talking about relax?
I know when she heard the word relax, she must be telling me 10 things in her mind. But that's just to kick stuff with Funny. Funny, again, take care of yourself. And again, to our Soufrière residents and listeners, have a safe week.
Facebook as well.
And take it. Oh yeah, Facebook. Let me not forget our Facebook fans, YouTube. Oh, you make me say so many things.
Yeah, but
we must just say, all our overseas listeners, and I know many of you are listening, and we're very, very grateful, and we're happy that you're keeping it locked with us. Again, I know it's very cold out there for some of you, so take care and have a wonderful day.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Casualty 911, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with the